Hi, this is Sandy from Homestead Soap and Spa, and this week's Homesteader how-to is making natural body powder. Many times people aren't able to use the conventional deodorants and body powders due to the aluminum content. And so this natural recipe will be able to help folks to be able to make it themselves and not have the chemicals that are associated with the commercial brands. Now let's move on to equipment. I want to start off by saying how important it is to have gloves and your hair back, because you don't want to contaminate any of the products that you're making either for yourself or as a gift. You're going to want to have yourself a mortar and pestle, a mason jar. You're going to want containers to hold your dry ingredients. I'm using glass today, but personally I prefer plastic because it's disposable. You've got your glass bottles that hold your essential oils. You have a container to put your actual tools after you've used them. And then from a tool perspective, you've got a mixing spoon. You have a whisk. You're going to need a scoop. Any size scoop will do. And then you're going to need a larger scoop, and this will be to transfer your ingredients from one area to another as we continue the process of making the body powder. Next, we're going to combine our dry ingredients. In your mixing bowl, you're going to want to combine your cornstarch, don't you love the powdery way that the cornstarch flows in here? So don't get your face too close to it. You don't want to be breathing that in. You're going to also want to combine your baking soda, your clay, and your thyme. You're going to want to take your whisk and you're going to want to mix these. And it's going to take about 2 minutes. You'll know when the dry mixture is combined adequately when you see there are no lumps and you see that the thyme is equally distributed among the other powders. Alright, so this is what it's going to look like. You don't really see the thyme, and that's how you know it's fully integrated. Now that we've got our dry ingredients combined, it's time to work with our wet ingredients. So go ahead and get your half cup of scoop, and you're going to want to grab about half of it and move it over to your mortar and pestle. Now this is where you're going to be adding in your essential oils. So this is going to be a judgment call. You're going to need 2 droppers full of the thyme and 4 droppers full of the rosemary. Now, when I say judgment, what I mean is you're going to be using your mortar and pestle to combine this into a paste. You may need a little bit more of the essential oil in order to get the moisture to the correct consistency. So use your judgment, take your time. For example, mine is starting to combine and thicken, but I feel like it's going to need a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and add another drop of thyme and another drop of rosemary to the wet ingredients. It gets the consistency almost of dough whenever it's correct. So if you've ever baked before and worked with cookie dough or bread dough, when it starts to look like dough, you know you've got the right consistency. This will probably take about 2 minutes. You're not going to want to skimp on this. You're going to want to take your time and make sure that the oil is absorbed into the powders. Alright, this looks pretty good. So when you're at the right consistency, this is what it should look like. Kind of like mushed up dough. Our next step is to combine the wet and the dry ingredients. So you're going to want to go ahead and scoop out your wet ingredients from the mortar and pestle. And I gotta tell you, I wish you were here because this smells so good. I feel like I'm in Italy in an herbal garden. It has just such a wonderful aroma to it. Now you're going to want to go ahead and whisk these again. So you're combining your wet ingredients, which are absorbed with the essential oils, with your dry ingredients. So go ahead and get this mixed. You may find that the wet ingredients may want to stick to the bottom of the pan of your bowl. So that's part of the reason why you're going to want to take the entire 2 minutes and combine this well. And our final step, we're going to be moving the combined ingredients into our mason jar. And you can see I'm left-handed here, so everything that we recorded today we did backwards. You want to fill the jar up about halfway. You're going to want to seal the jar. Make sure the seal is tight. This is important. You need it to be airtight. You're going to shake it. And you're going to set it aside. And for the next 3 days, you want to shake it once a day. And this is going to give the essential oils time to absorb into the dry ingredients. And at that point, it's ready for use. You can put it in a shaker jar. You can also even put it in a little baggie and apply it that way. But your natural body powder is complete and ready for use.